are very welcome to Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apiorkor, and for the second week running, I am spending time with Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan. She is the Ambassador of the United States of America to Ghana. And currently, we promised you last week that we would come to the Peace Corps headquarters here in Accra, Ghana, because Her Excellency has a very touching connection with the Peace Corps, apart from the fact that, of course, the Peace Corps is celebrating 60 years of existence, and the very first Peace Corps office was, instituted right here in Accra, Ghana, under, the auspices of President Kennedy, when, of course, Kwame Nkrumah, the Osajifo himself, was alive and in power. So hello, Your Excellency.
Hi, Appy. Thanks so much for stopping by the Peace Corps office.
Thank you so much for bringing me here. And I'm curious, so I know you served in Zaire, then Zaire, now DR Congo, as a Peace Corps volunteer. But what's your specific connection to Peace Corps Ghana?
Well, in fact, in the midst of my State Department career, I took a couple of years out and went and worked at Peace Corps headquarters in Washington.
Wow.
And I was the Deputy Regional Director for all of Africa. And one of the trips that I took during that time was to Ghana. So my very first visit to Ghana was with Peace Corps as a staff member, and it was in 1996.
Wow.
And I traveled overland from Togo and went all the way to Cape Coast, and visited with volunteers and with staff that were in a different building at that time. But so when I came back as ambassador in 2018, one of the very first calls I made was to the Peace Corps office.
So that's 22 years later.
I can't do the math. It was quite some time.
Yeah. So we're about to meet Jamil, right? So she's I'm sure you'll introduce her to me once we get to her. Hello.
Yes, so our acting director of Peace Corps Ghana is Jamil Schuler. And this is Appy, who's coming for a little tour of Peace Corps.
Machi Ambassador Sullivan.
Medase.
Thank you. Hashayahuyo, Namyadum.
Me and Samahoya Papa.
Hey.
Wow.
Thank you. Still Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apiorkor, and I did tell you that we're at the Peace Corps headquarters here in Accra. My guest today for the second week running is Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, Ambassador of the United States of America to Ghana. And we are celebrating 60 years of the Peace Corps, not just in Ghana, but worldwide. And we did meet Jamil early on, and she's brought us up here. And later on, we'll be speaking to a beneficiary, a Ghanaian beneficiary of the Peace Corps from way back when. But for now, let's talk about the Peace Corps. So, Your Excellency, what was the idea behind forming the Peace Corps, 60 years ago?
Well, it's great to have you here at the Peace Corps office, and we're here with Jamil Schuler, the acting director. When President Kennedy was running for president, he outdoored this idea of a cadre of Americans who could travel abroad and bring some technical skills or knowledge transfer that communities and countries wanted. That was the time when a lot of African countries were becoming independent. So, in fact, Ghana was the very first country to receive Peace Corps volunteers in 1961. Then the second goal of Peace Corps was to have the people in those countries get to know a bit more about America and American culture. And the brilliant third goal was, after those volunteers returned to the United States, they would bring the world back home and help other Americans get to know other parts of the world through their eyes and through their experiences that they had had as Peace Corps volunteers.
So this was basically President Kennedy's way, his vision of making sure that globalization began and started, from the United States of America, really.
Well, it was a very outward-looking vision that helped cement a lot of partnerships throughout the world.
And I think, 60 years later, we're here. And clearly, I mean, we'll get to speak to one of the Peace Corps beneficiaries, like I said earlier, a little later, but clearly there's been a huge impact. You yourself, Ambassador, you were a Peace Corps volunteer. Let's talk about that experience. So you went to Zaire.
Yes, at the time, after I finished my university studies, I went to the former Zaire, and I was an English teacher at a girls' boarding school. And I did that for 2 years, and then I spent a third year as the head Peace Corps volunteer in another region on the other side of the country, trying to make sure that the volunteers were doing well and figuring out if there were communities who were interested in having a volunteer in education, in agriculture, aquaculture, health. We worked in all those areas. And these are similar areas that the Peace Corps program has excelled in Ghana as well.
Okay, now what led you, and Jamil, I'll come to you soon, because I know you were also a Peace Corps volunteer. Now you're the acting director of the Peace Corps headquarters here in Accra, Ghana. But Your Excellency, what led you to join the Peace Corps?
Well, interestingly, I had a teacher in my secondary school who maybe one day he didn't do his lesson plans, and he showed us slides of when he and his wife had been Peace Corps volunteers. And I thought, that looks really interesting. I think I would like to do that. So it was about 8 years later that I finally did it.
And would you say that this was the beginning of your diplomacy or your diplomatic journey?
Well, Peace Corps is very independent from the State Department, and the volunteers aren't even U.S. government employees. But that was the time and the opportunity where I met for the first time any U.S. diplomats, and I realized after adapting to the situation there and realizing that this was an interesting career prospect to become a diplomat, I eventually figured out how to become a diplomat and decided to spend my focus working in or on Africa.
Jamil, how did you end up in Ghana?
Well, I think that one of the most beautiful points is that volunteers come to their decision to volunteer for so many different reasons and at different times in their lives. Volunteers, several of them start out right after university, some are mid-career volunteers, and some even join the Peace Corps as retirees. So I actually have about 20 plus years of corporate experience and just decided, you know what, I want to do something different. I want to give back to the community. I had never visited the continent that my ancestors are from, and I found a great opportunity in Namibia as a business advising volunteer. So I brought my skill sets there, and full circle, 6 years later, I'm now the Director of Management and Operations for Peace Corps Ghana and Acting Director as well.
You took the Peace Corps seriously. Clearly you did.
I knew when I finished my service that I really wanted to do something managing humanitarian efforts on the continent of Africa and overseas. It just so happened that after my Peace Corps service, I then joined the public sector and worked for the federal government and kept working towards the goal of attaining that position back overseas, and was able to land it with the Peace Corps.
That's wonderful. For you, do you think that from your experience and what you know, other volunteers you've met, perhaps people you served with, people you're working with now, has the Peace Corps served as a relevant vehicle for purposes like this, for people who want to visit the continent for the first time?
To visit or to
come and be a part of what's
Sure,
going on here,
sure.
really.
I think what's very important for all individuals is exposure and traveling and learning other cultures. And by all means, Peace Corps definitely offers the vehicle to come and serve as a volunteer. And then it also offers the vehicle to come back as in a leadership role where the opportunities are available. And I've met several individuals here that have come back kind of like diasporans, just in different ways. So the opportunities are vast, and everybody has like a great story to tell.
What are the key things that the Peace Corps looks to do in the countries that it's represented in?
Sure. So the beautiful part of global partnerships with Peace Corps is that we're invited into the countries in which our volunteers serve. there are several sectors that Peace Corps volunteers can serve in. So with Ghana, our partnership, we asked, where are your needs? Where are the resources that you're looking for volunteers to serve in? So currently, Ghana has volunteers in the agriculture, education, and health sectors.
And that would make sense. Those are three very needy areas in Ghana.
And usually at any given point in time, we have over 100 Peace Corps volunteers on the ground throughout Ghana.
100.
Yes.
That is a lot.
100 plus. And we've had several, since we've come to Ghana, we have had uninterrupted service here, which says a lot about the communities, the partnerships, and the safety of the country overall.
So what are some of the personal experiences that you've had since you've come in? What have you discovered about education, about health, about agric? What are some of the legacies that the Peace Corps has left in those three areas of economy?
Sure. Well, one of the things that I think is very kind of exciting is even though our volunteers have been evacuated, our programming and training team...
And that's due to COVID?
Due to COVID, yes. Our programming and training team has been able to still stay very active in the communities. They've worked on several community outreach programs in the areas of malaria, nutrition, and water and sanitation. So even though we don't have volunteers here now, we still have our team of trainers out working in the field to keep those partnerships going, help provide technical skill sets to and to the communities that we serve in.
So I'll come back to you, Ambassador Sullivan. Are you proud of what you're hearing?
I am, absolutely. I mean, it's always nice to see people who've had the benefit of a Peace Corps volunteer experience continue that sense of service and then to inspire others in that same way. I would note that the evacuation was global, and Peace Corps evacuated the entire world due to the pandemic back in March of 2020. So now we're looking at how to start bringing maybe a couple of dozen volunteers back, hopefully by the end of this calendar year.
My final question, Jamil, would be to you before we go speak to our beneficiary. Now, I want to know, are there any ways in which Ghanaians who are living here can get involved with the Peace Corps and the work that's going on here as volunteers and, say, communities outside of the urban areas if you live and work within one? I mean, how can Ghanaians get involved? Because we have a lot of Ghanaian volunteers who are always looking for things to do, and I'm wondering if there are opportunities like that within.
Sure. So we do have our Peace Corps Ghana website page, and there is a contact us area on there as well. It's always very interesting because I can meet people out in the streets and they say, well, we would love to have a volunteer in our town, and kind of understanding, having those conversations and understanding, what resources they have and how we can partner with them is always a huge benefit to our organization. We could not be as successful as we are without our partnerships with the ministries, especially to help provide kind of that top-down leadership in terms of helping us to stay connected all throughout Ghana.
And these are the stories we love to hear.
They are.
These are the stories we love to hear. So shall we go?
We shall go.
Okay. Welcome back. You're still watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apiorkor, and I did tell you earlier, and in case you just joined us, let me bring you up to speed. We're at the Peace Corps office here in Accra, and we have a long-standing relationship with the Peace Corps when it comes to Ghana and, of course, the relationship that we have with the United States of America. The Peace Corps was born in the United States but learned how to work in Ghana. And Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, Ambassador of the United States of America to Ghana, has been so gracious to bring me here so that we get to meet some of the people who are making the office run here in Accra. But then we also have a beneficiary of the Peace Corps. I'm going to leave it to Her Excellency to make that introduction. Hello.
Hi, Appy. Thanks for making the time to come visit us here.
Thank you for having me
at Peace Corps headquarters. I'm so excited that we're here today. with Nathan Badu Obwaji, who's the Municipal Agricultural Chief in Akwapim North. And, you know, I could talk about him, but he's really the best person to talk about what Peace Corps means to him and how it touched his life. So I'm going to let you do the interviews, but Kwaba to you as well. Nathan, it's such a pleasure to be with you today.
The pleasure is mine.
Hello, Nathan. Pleased to meet you. And I hear you have a fantastic story that began with the Peace Corps, and it has led you in different ways to your present day career and what you're doing for Agric in Ghana and in Akwapim North. So I'm going to let you tell your story. What was your very first encounter with the Peace Corps?
Okay. I had just entered secondary school as a Form 1 student. And on the day we were supposed to have Agric to start with, a man walks in, tall, quite well built, and he introduces himself as our Agric tutor, and that he's a Peace Corps volunteer. So we started with him. As far back as I can remember, the first week we didn't do much of agriculture. So he was teaching us general science issues, the use of a sphygmomanometer for taking blood pressure. In fact, that was the first time I heard of that word. It was he who brought it to our attention. He, also taught us general things like the temperature readings, that there were two scales, the Fahrenheit scale and then the Celsius scale, and quite a lot of other things. So that was before we entered the real agricultural things. And he was a likable man. He was interested not only in his subject, but in the students that he was about to teach. He took interest in knowing our names, and that was quite interesting because when it was time to pronounce some of the names, it was quite some, it was an effort, but he did well. Then we went into the subject proper, agriculture, and we would do the theory part, and then it will be time for the practicals. We'll go to our school garden and do work. There was this striking aspect about him when it comes to the practical part of the subject. As students, we were required to make beds for the vegetables and other things. At that time, we were tiny and having to
dig
and because there were stumps and you would have to remove them to be able to make the bed.
What school was this? Sorry for interrupting.
Akwapim Secondary.
Okay, so you went to Akwapim. Okay, so those of you who are watching who went to Akwapim Secondary,
yes,
you have an old boy here.
Yes.
So if you remember, what was the name of your teacher at the time?
Jim Guvia.
Jim Guvia.
Yes.
So if you remember Jim Guvia,
yes,
your classmate is here.
So Mr. Jim Guvia, who was our great tutor, wouldn't mind taking off his shirt, get hold of a mattock and a spade and help you make your bed. It wasn't something that you normally find an agric tutor helping you to do. You would do it by yourself. But Mr. Jim Guvia did it wholeheartedly, and we were quite impressed about that kind of thing. So that made an impression upon some of us. Yeah.
Okay. And so just the simple act of taking off his shirt to help you dig to make mounds, beds for the things that you were planting in our grid class led you to remember this gentleman so clearly.
He was so much immersed in the practical things. So it made the learning of the subject more relevant.
So he wasn't just writing big words on the board
no,
expecting you to repeat them and memorize them.
No.
He was teaching and
yes,
he was involved.
Yes.
in the activity?
So as far as Okwapuma was concerned, our agriculture was very relevant. Proceeds from our farm was used in our kitchen to feed us. I remember that every Sunday, every student had 1 egg. So it was all part of the practicals that we did, and Mr. Jim Guguvia was very instrumental. He was into the thick of things.
Okay, so now fast forward, you had an encounter with the Peace Corps again. How many years later?
Oh, just this year.
Okay, so just this year.
We were called in by the Peace Corps that they were creating a new office in Dodoa, and that they were looking for sites to train the volunteers. So they will be engaging the departments of agriculture and then the Ghana Education Service to help in the training of the volunteers. So they came to engage with us, and that was when this issue of Jim Guvia as a volunteer came up. Yeah.
But what has the Peace Corps done for people like you in 2021?
For 2021, as I said, they have just set up their office in Dodoa. So our assignment is to help them to train their volunteers who are yet to come. So immediately they come in, then we are going to partner with the Peace Corps in training their volunteers so that they can move on from the training sites to the field where they can really engage with the various communities in which they are sent. Yes.
But Your Excellency, I'm going to bring you in at this point, and we'll be going on break soon so we can see the rest of what the Peace Corps has to offer. But how do you feel just hearing this story? And you yourself have been a volunteer, the Peace Corps, of course, not in Ghana, that was in then Zaire, now DR Congo. But how do you feel just listening to Nathan?
Wow, well, I'm thrilled to meet Nathan for the first time today, and this symmetry of the full circle. And I think that my own experiences when I've had a chance to reconnect with former students of mine have been phenomenal. And so the fact that you were inspired to really make a career out of agriculture, where you're now inspiring other people, and then helping the next generation of Peace Corps volunteers set themselves up for success by understanding how to work well in Ghana, in their communities. I'm bursting with pride. I'm so happy and honored to meet you, Nathan.
It's a pleasure.
Nathan, thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking to Nathan. He is a son of Ghana. He's giving back to Ghana in the greenest way, pun intended. And you've heard him and his story, his experiences with his teacher, who was a Peace Corps volunteer almost 44 years ago. And now today, not only is he heading a district agriculture office in Ghana, but he's also helping the Peace Corps. He will be, along with other agric experts in Ghana, to train some volunteers who will be coming through the program so that they can do their work efficiently and make the United States of America and Ghana's partnership as green as it should be. We'll be right back. Hi, it's still Diplomatic License on City TV. So moving from the Peace Corps headquarters here in Accra, now we're at Dignity DTRT, a factory that is, majority Ghanaian owned by a Ghanaian woman, but also very much supported by U.S. Aid, who's also celebrating their 60th anniversary, as we learned that the Peace Corps is as well. And so Her Excellency Ambassador Sullivan, I've caught up with her here again, and she's going to introduce me to this space, and you understand why we're here and why it's important to highlight this amazing establishment by the time we're done with this interview. Hello.
So Api, this is Salma.
Hi.
She is the majority shareholder.
We
mentioned Mr. Pereira as
Hi.
well.
Pleased to meet you. Pleased
My
to
new
meet
best
you.
friend, Api.
Yes.
Okay, so Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Stephanie Sullivan, we welcome you here to Dignity DTRT. With me here, it's our Chief Operating Officer Global, Mr. Wasanta. He's here to steer the affairs of the whole production facility, and he does it globally in terms of getting fabrics, materials that we need here. He's the person in charge and making sure that the factory runs every day. So once again, on behalf of myself and Wasanta and the company, I welcome you to Dignity DTRT.
Thank you for having us. And so, Your Excellency, I'm sure we're going to learn as we go inside the reason why you chose to come here today and why you chose to share this with me. I'm very privileged and very grateful, and also with our viewers, so that they understand the great work that USAID has been doing here, but also how Ghanaian business grew from a very small. I employ, how many people are you employing?
I had 50 by then.
50 by then,
yeah.
And now you have over
2,500. Over 2,500, yeah.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Okay,
inside?
we'll be taking you to.
Okay, thank you. Watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apiorkor, and of course I am spending time for the second week running with Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, the Ambassador of the United States of America to Ghana. Now on the premises of Dignity DTRT, right here in Accra. In fact, actually in the heart of the Central Business District, very close to the Cocoa House, or those of you who know Cocoa Board in Accra. And something very interesting happened here. But I'm going to hand over to Her Excellency just to tell us where we are and why we're here.
Okay, great. As always, Api, great to be with you. And in fact, I'm very excited. We're going to go on a tour of this wonderful factory, which I'm going to actually let Selma Salifu tell us a little bit more about that. But it's a company that's had support from USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, for several years now. And as I mentioned to you last week, it is the 60th anniversary of USAID. And this is just such an inspiring example of a company that adapted to the pandemic and figured out how to produce PPE and masks and really rise to the occasion and show what ingenuity could do. And so I'm really excited to go on a tour later on. But first, let me introduce you to Salma Salifu, who is the majority share owner of this amazing company.
Welcome to Diplomatic License.
Thank you.
Yes.
First and foremost, I would like to welcome Her Excellency Ambassador Stephanie Sullivan to Dignity DTRT. This is not the first time she's been here. She's been very supportive. The U.S. government has been very supportive to our program. With notably most of the apparel expansion programs that we've had. They've supported us in training the workforce, and that has really boosted our export. Because having them go through the right training, we've been able to produce more efficiently, quality-wise very high. And so I will just take advantage of your coming here today to say a big thank you to you and say to you that Ghana is very appreciative of the U.S. government support, and we're looking forward to doing more in the future. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what kinds of apparel do you produce here at Dignity DTRT?
We are into mainstream apparel manufacturing. We do more of knit, and we do polo shirt, t-shirts, sweatshirts, the hoodies. We do kids clothing too. Our products are mainly based on what our buyers ask for.
Okay.
And fleece as well, which may be a little bit warm for the Ghanaian market. but certainly in my country, we appreciate how soft and warm the fleece is.
Well, I suppose if you live up in the Green Mountains around this time, it may come in handy. It may come in handy. And we have here, would you like to introduce him? Auntie Salma?
He's Mr. Wasanta. He is the head of, I would say this, he is the head of the whole production for Ghana, China office, U.S. He is the main man here. He's here to make sure that our dreams are realized. He's been from one of the largest companies out there, and we are fortunate to have him here with us today. So I would let him say it for himself.
Hi. Pleased to meet you, Wasanta.
My pleasure.
Yes. So please tell us a little bit about how you ended up in Ghana and how you ended up working with Auntie Salma here at Dignity DTRT.
Well, I was, before I joined with DTRT, get this great opportunity, I was in East Africa. I was set up a large East African plant, like with 6,000 people, and operating in both Ethiopia and Kenya. And then I was working for one of $500 million companies in Bangladesh. So I was very fortunate to meet Skip and Mark, my co-CEOs, and they invite me to join with them. Eventually, it became a great opportunity. I thought of my last 25 years experience, I will be able to capitalize, leverage in Africa for second time. This is where I am, and I'm pretty sure that with the workforce of 2,500 now, our next milestone needs to go up to 6,000.
A workforce of 2,500.
Yeah.
Here in Accra, on this premise.
In this premise.
That is impressive. You have to agree.
And our next milestone needs to go up to 6,000 workforce associates, and we are ready for the journey.
It sounds wonderful. And we have Skip. Skip is zooming in, literally, all the way from San Diego in the United States. Hi, Skip.
Hi there.
Hi. Good to have you here.
Nice to be with you virtually.
Yes, so my name is Apiorkor, Api. It's always easier, Yeah, my name is a mouthful, even for Ghanaians, so don't worry, you're in good company if it's difficult. And I've been spending time with Her Excellency Ambassador Sullivan, and she's been taking me around, showing me all the wonderful things that are happening here in Ghana, courtesy of the U.S. government, U.S. agencies. But we're also celebrating 60 years of USAID here, 60 years of USAID, and we're looking at the work that's being done by the agency here in Ghana. And so it's great to have you. And I'm curious to know what your connection to Dignity DTRT is.
Well, that's a good question. My co-founder, Mark Hansel, and I founded DTRT Apparel back in 2013. We had worked together in the apparel industry for many years. Obviously, our industry has a bad reputation globally, and justifiably so in many cases. But we always felt and knew that the industry had tremendous power to do good. No other industry that I know of can employ so many people so quickly without prior experience or specific educational backgrounds. And so the power to really transform, socially on an economy and on a country is just great. And so we wanted to do that. We had experience working in East Africa before, and we looked at West Africa and honed in on Ghana, for some very great reasons and features that Ghana had.
Could you kindly share just a couple of those reasons with us? I mean, why Ghana?
Certainly. It was very important to us. There are a lot of places around the world where labor is inexpensive, but it was important to us first and foremost that wherever we went, that we could afford to pay our workers a wage that they could live on, that they could actually improve their lives. We wanted it to be a good job, right, and not have and not, we wanted to lift people out of poverty as opposed to trapping people in poverty. And the economics of Ghana in terms of the large available workforce, the standard of living, cost of living. There is with the United States, there is the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, which offers us duty-free import to the U.S., which is a tremendous savings over other areas of the world. So, it helps being American that Ghana is English speaking. There's several government programs and initiatives that were put in place to help our industry specifically. And so when we, and of course, perhaps number one on the list of criteria was the stable, peaceful democracy of Ghana. Really a beacon on the continent and in the region, and that was critically important to us as well. So we decided on Ghana, and then we also, it was very important to us to try and form a partnership with a local in the industry, as opposed to going in on our own and competing against locals who were trying to make a mark in the industry. We wanted to go form a partnership and help lift up what was happening there. And we met Salma. We knew from the first time we met her that she was the right partner for us. And so we set about with forming Dignity DTRT with her, starting with 50 workers in early 2014 to over 2,500 workers today.
That's impressive, completely impressive.
And so, I would say, obviously in business like life, relationships are so critically important. And our relationship with USAID and the U.S. government obviously is one that I think I value tremendously. And frankly, we would not have anywhere near 2,500 workers today if it wasn't for the support we've received from USAID over the years.
Okay, brilliant. And Skip, since you spoke a lot about your partnership with Salma, I'm going to come back to you. You have been working with USAID for a while, Auntie Salma, but prior to that, you're a fashion designer.
Okay, as far back as 1997, I went through programs with the USAID. They had programs that were done to expose us to the outside market. So we did a lot of workshops, seminars, and through that program, I was able to show the kind of design that I make locally. So there was a local design, and just as you said, I'm a designer, and I do most of the designs for some of the clients that are even out there. So out of the designs that I had, and with the program through the USAID under the West African Trade Hub, wasn't in by then, but MX International. So I was able to export one of my samples, and it was due to the relationship that we had through the consulting firm that was working with USAID. And I will say this to you, there wasn't any advertising or any social media kind of thing. The way I think the best thing that happened to me was my link to the USAID. So through the program, fortunately for me, there was this initiative that was made aware to all of us, the PSI program. And during that time, the intention of the government by then was to help the local companies to be able to export in the medium scale or large scale manufacturing.
The PSI, this is the President's Special Initiative under President Kufuor.
So I tend to be one of the first 5 local companies that was selected to do that. And so that's where the journey of the mainstream production started. We had a training, we were waiting to have a setup like this to be able to produce and export.
And you've had Speaker Nancy Pelosi pass through here. You've had the former First Lady Melania Trump come through. You've had a lot of prominent people who we read about in the news come through. And how does that feel for you?
Oh my God. You know, at times I need to pitch myself and whether it's real. And it hasn't still sunk in. I kind of like look around once in a while and I'm like, is this happening? It's just by His grace. We are here and we are so appreciative of each and everyone that supported us.
And we're proud of you. Because these are the kind of stories we want to see and hear coming out of Ghana. So Asante, I'm going to come back to you. I see you have some garments here and I'm itching to just see them on the table. You can share them.
Certainly. Very proud for that quality of Ghana and the what we are producing.
So these are made right here.
This fabric is
So incredibly soft, so comfortable.
Your Excellency, how do you feel about this?
I want to put it on right now.
exactly. Right.
Okay. So, can you tell us what?
Yes. Basically, this particular product range, we are servicing for our most strategic customer, Sanma in US, and we have got year-round products on this one. Right throughout, we have produced for the last 5 months. Customer is very happy with our quality standard, and we got a projection for even next year as well, since we are delivering on time. Also, we are giving right quality for them, right? And also, this particular product we have been producing for almost last 5 years now. And this is like our bread and butter program. And team is very geared to handle this very difficult fabric, and it's a performance wear. And right now, we are doing at 60 to 65, 70% efficiency, and we are competing even most experienced countries in Asia as far as efficiency is concerned, and quality also we are equally good as any good manufacturers in the world today.
You know, Appy, this story reminds me of the book we were talking about last week, The Little Engine That Could. It's an inspirational story about a train. We won't get into it right now, but the determination that you've shown and the persistence and the resilience, it's a very wonderful message. So you've done well.
It is. Thank you. So, Your Excellency, I mean, I'm hosting the show, but Her Excellency is my host here, along with Selma and Wasantha. So, with your permission, could we go over to the factory floor with your permission?
Sure.
You're still watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apiorkor, and if you just joined us, I'll have you know that I've been spending time with Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, Ambassador of the United States of America to Ghana. And USAID is celebrating 60 years of existence, and we're here at a company that's in Ghana, has a majority shareholder who is Ghanaian, who is a woman. And we've just been talking about all the wonderful things that have happened here, of course, with the support of USAID. And so now I'm going to hand over to Wasantha. I mean, if you didn't meet him earlier, you're late, but he's here and he's going to teach us and talk to us a little bit about how the production happens on the floor.
To show our great factory for Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States. So we are stepping into a factory where you will see it's not just making garments. We create an atmosphere where people happily produce and contribute as a partners more than just making a garments. So this is the culture that we have created. As you can see, we have various presentations, daily basis, and we recognize strength. Beside our salary, we pay them incentives, and this trophy daily basis we give them along with some foods to recognize the best lines. By doing it, we create a competition among them, and they're very thrilled with this program, and I have seen a great result, and all supervisors and associates start competing each other. So we have created very happy atmosphere. You will see from our people, they smile it all the time when they produce it. So after our factory tour, we'll come for this presentation. I would like to invite you to join today to give away this trophy and the gifts.
How long have you been working with Dignity DTRT? 7 years. Wow. So how old are you now? Do you mind math? So you started when you were 18. What brought you here?
I completed my SHS studies and then I wanted to support my parents to be able to continue my education.
Where did you go to school?
Ghana National College.
So you're a national girl?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm told now you're in school.
Yeah, I'm in the
So what are you studying?
Accounting.
Accounting. And how is that going?
It's going well.
How did you go through the pandemic, COVID and all that?
Oh, we're giving some incentives, transport allowances. Some were offered buses to be carried to work. So everything was okay, everything was good. Food money was given as well. So everything was okay with the company.
So you would encourage other young people, young ladies to do this work if they have the opportunity to.
Yes.
I know very soon Dignity DTRT will be scaling up and jobs will be available.
Yes, yes.
Encourage them.
We have the second runner-up. The second runner-up had 51% with 1,008 pieces. And so this second runner-up goes to line number, is it your line? Is it going to be your line? Okay, the second runner-up goes to line number 85. Let's give a big clap unto them.
Wow, good for you, yeah. Okay, so
As you can see, we keep adding brand new machines. I just imported this machine about a week ago.
Wow.
We are assembling. And first time in Ghana, this machine, we don't have it. We also got with the auto pullers, where you can see the black puller. It's reduced. It's while stitching, the puller pull the fabric.
Okay, so it doesn't bunch.
Exactly.
It's always a great experience to see the wonderful things that are coming out of Ghana, and especially when those things are happening in partnership with the wonderful countries that are represented here, just as Ambassador Sullivan has shown us today. And I mean, it's been a joy and an honor to be here today at Dignity DTRT Apparel. Thank you so much, Selma. Thank you so much, Wasanta, for showing us your operations. You're running a very clean and impressive business here. Your workers are obviously happy. We saw one of the ladies dancing once she received her trophy that Ambassador presented to her. Very grateful for sharing this with me, Ambassador. Thank you for this.
Oh, my great pleasure, and it's a wonderful opportunity for me to reconnect and admire once again the nice quality control of these products that are exported to the United States under the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. So, well done. Very nice to see you, Salma, and you as well, Mr.
And
Herrera.
thank you for coming. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you.
And our doors are open. Anytime you want to come in and see what we do, we are here to
Thank you so
open
much.
our doors for you.
Thank you so much.
For Her Excellency, we are so grateful. And just like I said earlier, the support we're getting from the U.S. aid, the U.S. government, we are so appreciative of that.
Absolutely, and it's a great partnership, Salma. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. Thank you very much. It's a great honor.
All right, so Your Excellency, thank you so much for spending 2 weeks with me. I just have a few more questions for you, which I didn't ask earlier. I know you have a family. Are they in Ghana with you?
My husband is here, and our older son was visiting a few weeks ago.
How do they find Ghana?
Oh, they love it as much as I do.
I can imagine. And I'm also wondering, what kinds of music and food have you fallen in love with while you're here? I know you love Ghanaian fashion. It's evident. You love Ghanaian arts. We saw a lot of that last week.
Yes.
But music, food, what are the things that have caught your attention?
So actually my favorite Ghanaian musician is Kojo Antwi.
Oh, wow.
So I really like the classics. I like Amache Dede, and even Daddy Lumba. But so I also enjoy Ghanaian food, especially Rere, and Kate and Kwan.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. Those
Fufu or rice.
Those are two of my favorites
Really?
as well.
Okay, we'll have to go to Chop Bar sometime.
We do. I'll take you somewhere. I promise. I'll take you somewhere. But before you go, before we part ways, we have a gift for you.
Oh,
so
my
this is a friend of City, a friend of Diplomatic License.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And,
it's a beautiful eagle.
Yes, and I'll let him tell you how he's made it. He's an artist, brilliant.
You are the artist?
Yes, he's the artist.
Yeah, so it's made of stones, natural stones. Wow. There are no colors in there, and these are beads.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's it.
So what is your name, please?
My name is Afrani, Eric Kojo Afrani.
Eric Kojo Afrani.
Yes, please. And
You-
the brand name
you
is
may-
Platinum Art.
Platinum Art. Well, you maybe didn't know this, but the village I grew up in, called Dobbs Ferry,
Okay.
the high school mascot is a screaming eagle.
Whoa!
So this is really an incredible
Yeah.
choice,
Wow.
and it brings our visit full circle.
It does.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks a million.
So this is our gift to you. I know you love art, and I didn't see anything like this in your collection.
No,
so
this is amazing.
I thought,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the eagle always means something for the U.S. anyway.
Yeah.
so-
Right, in fact, we
yes.
also have an eagle.
And
at
for
the top of
Ghana
our
too, as
American
well.
flag, so.
You know, so I just thought eagle, Ghana, U.S. It's a
wonderful
symbol we
choice.
share. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my 2 weeks spent with Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, and she's a wonderful soul, very down to earth, everything I imagined and more. And I can see why things happening between the U.S. and Ghana are happening the way they have, because of course she's picked up from somebody, but she's holding the fort and doing it with grace. So thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with us. And next week we'll be back with another surprise. My name is Apiorkor, and you've been watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV.